This review is of The Book Thief by Markus Zusak. I hope I said it correctly. And this is based in World War II Germany, in the hometown of Hitler called Molching. And it's all about a little girl whose mother brings her and her younger brother from their hometown to Molching, and on the way the brother dies. It sounds like he might have had tuberculosis. Um, and so she's taken in by a relatively poor family there that are kind of coarse, but they're loving and they take good care of her. And it talks about how the Nazism springs up in that city, especially because it's the hometown. So some people are particularly fervent in their support of Hitler. And there's a point at which they are harboring a Jew who was the son of a man who saved the adoptive father in the First World War. And when I first started reading it, it was very hard to read. And it's because the way it's presented is different. So you've got the usual, kind of like chapter names and stuff like that. But then you get all this stuff. And that is special comments emphasizing things that the narrator is telling you. And the rest of it here is also from the narrator because this is the prologue. And throughout the whole narration, this narrator pops in and says things. And I'm not going to tell you who the narrator is. But, the last time that I had a book that had unusual formatting was when I, as a probably primary student, ordered Jonathan Livingston Seagull by Richard Bach, which is, by the way, an amazing book. But for years, I carried it around and didn't read it until I was in my 20s. And at one point I remember picking it up and I opened it up, and in the beginning were these what looked like post-it notes or maybe pages torn out of somebody's notebook with different stuff. I think it was like people's comments about the book or something. I don't really remember anymore, but it was so different from reading, printed text that I was turned off by it, and I put it down for several more years. And when I finally read it, I was like, gosh, I wish I'd read this sooner. And so this book, because of this unusual formatting with the comments, the emphasized comments of the narrator, as well as the general comments of the narrator, really just kind of were mentally surprising, and it took me a little while to adjust to it. But once I adjusted to the idea of this book being, I guess you could say, actively narrated as opposed to passively narrated by a third party that had intimate knowledge of all the events, I was okay with it. And it was, the more I read it, the more I liked it. I won't say that it was like the most amazing book I've ever read, because I've read some pretty amazing books. I've read well over 1,000 books, maybe over 2,000 books. I don't really remember anymore. It's been so many. But it was definitely enjoyable, and it's poignant. And the end just tears you up. But yeah, I definitely will recommend this book to people. There's nothing too terribly graphic about it that young teens can't have it. I would be careful with kids who are suffering from like depression or whatever, or have lost a family member, because this will possibly really affect them. But yeah, otherwise, I think this is a good book for teens and young adults, and more mature full adults. I'll give it an 8.5. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great day.